I was like, I think Caitlin's hurt. I'm not going to be surprised if sometime soon the Indiana Fever pulls her and sits her for a few games. I think she is still battling some sort of injury. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things pointing to the fact that something wasn't right. And I have to be totally honest with you guys, I'm not surprised by this news at all. And less than 12 hours later, the news dropped from the Fever. But it's a tough blow not only to Caitlin because we know that she loves to be on the court. It's a tough blow for the Indiana Fever because that is their superstar.
Caitlin Clark has returned to practice, but don't get too excited just yet. Limiting her to slow-paced drills might protect her future, but the Fever's cautious approach has ignited a heated debate. Are they rushing her back for the Lynx game, risking her long-term health, or playing the long game?
And that is the news that Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin Clark. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does. And even in her pregame routine, she was doing some things differently. Some fans also noticed that she had her upper left leg taped during a couple of those games. She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor, her energy.
We'll uncover what's really going on and what it means for the league's most untradeable star. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Whether some fans like it or not, it was proven the last time that she was out with injury that the WNBA does better when she is on the court. Whether she is playing to the best of her abilities or not, they are still a better team with her on the court. And it's also a huge blow to the WNBA. The WNBA ratings across the league dropped by over 50% when Caitlin Clark was out with injury. And this is obviously such a crucial time and a crucial year.
Caitlin Clark's injury isn't just a setback for the Indiana Fever. It's left the entire WNBA reeling. Why? She's more than a star player. Clark is the league's centerpiece. Her ability to command attention, both on and off the court, has been nothing short of a phenomenon. This year alone, she's been credited with lifting TV ratings, increasing ticket sales, and bringing younger audiences into the fold.
If we go back to the preseason, I think Caitlin Clark went into training camp, or she at least went into the preseason games with a quad injury. This is something that dates all the way back to the beginning of the season. My initial thoughts on this injury, my initial concerns with this injury is the fact that it is something that is still lingering and it seems to be jumping around. Now, if you have an injury and you don't allow it to heal all the way, your body starts compensating in other ways. And I'm not sure if she initially got this injury because of the amount of muscle that she put on during the off season.
But now, her groin injury has exposed just how much of the league's momentum hinges on her presence. Since Clark's absence, the WNBA has seen a staggering 50% drop in viewership. Let that sink in. For any league, those numbers are devastating, but for one experiencing its first major surge in popularity, it's crippling. Analysts, commentators, and fans alike are feeling the fallout. Colin Cowherd even went as far as calling her untradeable, comparing her impact to names like Mahomes or Otani, athletes whose absence would send entire franchises and fan bases into a spiral. That's exactly what's happening here. Social media has been in chaos, with fans questioning everything. Is the Fever taking care of Clark? Are they pushing her too hard? Or are they being too cautious, letting crucial games slip away? The timing of her injury couldn't have been worse either, just days before the highly anticipated Commissioner's Cup and a matchup against the Minnesota Lynx, a team with crisp ball movement and relentless defense.
What worries me about this injury is that her quad injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation, and that is something, you guys, if you didn't know, I've played basketball my whole life. I also played in college. I never played at the professional level. The minute that you bulk up, the minute that you add more muscle, the minute that you add any sort of weight to your body, your mechanics change. And a lot of time with professional athletes, they will do it at kind of a slow pace to make sure that the mechanics of their body are on the same pace. But I was a straight shooter, and any time that I started getting stronger or putting on more muscle mass, my shot changed, and there was normally some sort of period during that time.
The Fever find themselves scrambling. Stephanie White, the Fever's head coach, is trying to keep the focus on the team, implementing training routines centered around drill work, non-contact shooting, and load management for Clark. The Fever are leaning heavily on Kelsey Mitchell to shoulder the load, but can they really fill the void left by their biggest star? Fans aren't so sure. And here's the bigger issue. Clark's injury exposes how delicate the WNBA's growth really is. Without her, the league's impressive momentum feels alarmingly fragile. What happens next could redefine how the Fever and the WNBA handle their brightest stars moving forward. Caitlin Clark's injury isn't just a hurdle for the Fever, it's a moment of reckoning for the entire WNBA. With their star sidelined, the Fever are about to face off against the Minnesota Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup, a matchup loaded with challenges. The Lynx, built on sharp ball movement and a stifling defense, are known for exposing weaknesses in their opponents. Without Clark's court vision and scoring ability, the Fever's depth will be tested in ways it hasn't been all season. And let's not forget what's on the line. The Commissioner's Cup prize pool of $500,000 is no small incentive, only raising the stakes for how this team adapts under pressure. For Coach Stephanie White, the weight of this moment is enormous. She's already been navigating a fine line, trying to encourage momentum for her team while protecting Clark's recovery. White has kept Clark involved through light drills and non-contact practices, carefully balancing caution with competitiveness. Kelsey Mitchell, a veteran presence on the team, remains optimistic, saying, "We've got to respect the moment and be ready." But optimism only goes so far. The Fever's makeshift approach of leaning on role players and gritty basketball might not be enough to replace the spark and leadership that Clark brings. Against a disciplined team like the Lynx, any cracks could become craters. The deeper impact of Clark's absence ripples across the league. Ticket sales have slowed and sponsorships are more cautious. Merchandise sales skyrocketed when Clark was playing, up 550% by some reports. But that momentum threatens to stall without her on the court. Fans are split down the middle. Some commend the Fever's focus on long-term health, while others accuse them of potentially jeopardizing a critical season by holding her back. This tightrope act raises larger questions about the WNBA itself. Can a league so dependent on its brightest stars sustain growth when one is sidelined? What happens now might set the standard for how player welfare is handled going forward. If the Fever misstep either by rushing Clark or holding her out unnecessarily, it could shake trust in a league that's finally finding its stride. Caitlin Clark's injury is more than a bump in the road. It's a reminder of how much the WNBA's future depends on its stars. Her absence has triggered a chain reaction, from slowed merchandise sales to questions about the Fever's priorities. The league's growth feels tied to a single player, exposing a fragile ecosystem that's still finding its footing. Can the WNBA balance protecting its talent while keeping momentum alive? That's the real dilemma. As the Fever take on the Lynx without their untradeable leader, the pressure is mounting for the team, the league, and the fans watching every move.